Hey everybody, Kennis here. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to do a simple and easy modification to my Stratocaster here. This is probably my favorite guitar, and can't believe it's taken me so long. I've owned this guitar for about 2 years to do this mod, and that is replacing this nut right there. This is a really easy upgrade to do. So check it out. This is how to replace a nut on a guitar. Alright, so we're looking at my Mexican Stratocaster here. And I really like this guitar, and I've done a lot of mods to it, and surprisingly have not gotten around to replacing that nut. So I'm replacing it with a Graph Tech nut. This is the Tusq XL, and these are about, if I'm not mistaken, it was like $8.99 or something like that on Amazon. You can get them on eBay, different places, but basically this one fits the import Stratocasters. You just want to go to Graph Tech just to make sure you're getting the right one. And you'll see up there and the model number there. That will tell you on their website. You can just write down that model number, making sure you're getting the right one, whether you're on Amazon or you can even buy it straight from Graph Tech. But this is a pre-slotted nut. This is a pre-slotted nut. So basically I'm not going to have to use a nut file to file out where the strings go. It's already done there. It's already made with the appropriate curve in the nut, pretty closely to where the original one was. Now, if you had like an American Strat, you would get a different nut because they have one that fit the American Stratocasters better. But the material of this is made out of I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's you can see up here it says it's pre-lubricated. It's almost like it's whatever it's made out of has some sort of coating in there that make it slippery, so it's not going to bind up on you. And when I take off this nut, I'll do a comparison of just the materials that this is made out of. You'll be able to tell, even just by hearing me drop it on the counter, how well this is made compared to the ones that come with it. And this is a Mexican Stratocaster, but even still, the nut on there is not as high quality as one that I want. In order to do this, I'm only going to need a couple tools, a little scrap piece of wood, a hammer that I'm not actually going to hit the guitar with, so don't worry. And if you want to, you can use a little bit of glue to glue in your nut. Let's get started. Okay, firstly, all you're going to do, you don't even have to restring your guitar to do this. You can just detune your guitar. So I'm going to put this down in a second, and I'm going to loosen up all these strings, and so they're just going to be loose enough where I could slide a new nut in pretty easily. Okay, here we go. You can see, I'm going to just put my finger in here. You can see all these strings are just easily pulled up off of that. That's all the space you need. Just a little bit of space so that you can knock out this. So all I'm going to do is basically take my scrap piece of wood, put it on the very edge here, and knock it. But first, before I do that, I'm going to take a razor blade and just very slightly cut the side of this to make sure that there's no lacquer or anything that might bind this, and then I'm going to do it across the top and the bottom. Just lightly score it, basically. So now, the reason why I did that was just to make sure that there's no lacquer or anything on the top, or the bottom, or the sides that may hold on to the, when I knock this nut out, that may kind of want to hold on to it. And then it kind of just loosens it up. You may not have to do that, but I'm just doing it just to be safe. Okay, next thing, I'm going to just take a piece of wood here. This is just a scrap piece of wood I had, and I'm going to barely put it on the edge of the nut here so that it just has enough. Matter of fact, I'm going to flip this around. It's going to grab better on this side. Just barely is touching the side of the nut. Okay, so that when I hit it with this hammer, it's going to pop off. Let's give this a shot, see what happens. You can see a little bit. That it's that little tap that I did moved that over, and you can see how it's kind of coming off the edge a little bit that way. I'm going to tap it one more time, and then it probably will just come right out. Rather than tapping it again, I'm going to just use the weight of the guitar. Yep, see how that just popped off? That one little tap was enough to do it. there you go. So this is the nut that was in there, and you can see that's what the nut slot looks like. All right, little sound experiment here. I'm gonna get my phone really close to this so you can hear it. Let me drop the old one. This is the old nut. Here, let me just drop this. Listen to this. Okay, more time. Now listen to the new one. You hear that, how much more bright it is? Okay, I just used the packaging that came in to put it under the strings, just to get the strings elevated a little bit. So I'm not having to fight the strings to get this in here. So when you put it in, it's real easy to tell which way, because there's thicker strings and thinner strings. I don't know how well it's coming off on the camera, but you can tell the thicker string side. So the last time I did this, it actually fit in pretty easily. This time it's a little bit too big. It's a little bit too thick, okay? So I'm gonna just take some sandpaper and sand the flat side down a little bit, and then try to test it, see if it fits, sand it down a little bit, see if it fits, until I get a nice, good, snug fit. You don't want it to be loose in there, but you also don't want to have to like hammer it in order to go in there. Once I kind of get that fit, then I'm going to take some sandpaper probably to the sides of this. So I'll just put on the sandpaper like that until the sides are the right, they're sanded down perfectly too. All right, so I got this pretty much to fit correctly. Let me slide it in there. Oh. One-handed here. Fits in pretty good. However, on the sides here, it's raised up a little bit. And raised up a little bit there. And basically, I don't know if you can see this or not. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job on the camera. It's got a little rock. Okay, you can look, it's rocking back and forth just a little bit. And the last Strat that I did this on, it was just fine. But I guess like some Strats already have the curve inside the nut slot, and some they put this piece on there to make it curved. Okay, this little piece at the bottom. And I might be kind of talking out of my butt here a little bit. I just know that the last one I didn't have any problem with that little piece at the bottom, and this one I am. So I'm going to file this down a little bit right here, this middle part, and then keep filing until it's not rocking inside there. Okay, I'm going to make one more adjustment here. I don't know how well this is going to come across, but I'm comparing this with the old nut. It looks like, I don't know if you can see that the new nut is thicker than the old nut. On the bass side, it's not so much. So you can even see this a little bit. It just seems a little thicker here. And I put it inside the guitar, and sure enough, you can tell that. So I'm going to file this down a little bit. There's a little speck right here of just plastic from the probably from manufacturing. I'm wondering if that might be playing a part in it too. But I'm going to just file down this with some sandpaper, just to try to get it as close to the old nut as possible. I really liked the setup that I had on this, and so if I can get that just right, I think that's going to be probably play very, very similarly. And I'm just feeling the edge here. I don't want to have anything really hitting there. You can hear my fingernail kind of touching that a little bit. I'm going to just do a little bit more. Okay, I'm just filing down the edges of this to match the width of my guitar. So I'm putting it in the slot, feeling how it feels against the guitar, and then filing it down just a couple. All right, well, I got it to work pretty well, I think. Putting it in here. Looks pretty good on the side. Looks like there's a gap there. It's not.
That's not really a gap there. What I did was I accidentally filed too much, just kind of creating like a little bevel on the edge there, but there's not a gap. It just kind of looks like that.
It's only just a very, very hair. And the same thing on this side. I kind of, this one you can see it a little bit better. I kind of curved it in there. So basically I kind of filed too much away from the edges, but it feels okay. I think I'm going to be all right with it. Another thing that you might be thinking is, well, what about the nut of the height of the slots in the nut? So in other words, like how deep these guys go down. So but you might put it in there and go, man, this nut is too high. And so instead of getting out the nut file, if you even have one, and trying to file down the nuts, all you have to do is take the nut itself and file it down more with sandpaper. So you can actually file this down to the right height that you're wanting. For me, I just matched it up with the nut that I already had, and I think I'll be happy with that. Also, I went ahead and filed down that middle part all the way. Even though it wasn't rocking anymore when I put it in the nut slot, I was thinking, you know what, it may still be rocking a little bit. It's just wedged in there and I'm not able to feel it. So I don't think it's going to hurt anything. I just went ahead and filed that whole thing down. So I think that's going to fit the curvature. I actually got it backwards. It's going to fit the curvature of the nut slot that's already in there. Now here comes the kind of the controversy part. Do you glue it in or not? And some people say yes, glue it in. Some people say no. I don't really know what to think. So for me, even if you are gluing it down, you just need like 1 or 2 drops on here just to keep it in there. You don't want to just coat the thing with glue and really secure that in with a lot of glue. It should be bound in there. I'm moving that pretty hard and I can't move it at all. The wood itself should bind that in there. Plus you've got your strings on it, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I'm going to put just a couple drops of glue on just to secure it in there. All right, well, I got ready to glue in my nut, and my crappy dollar store super glue here it was all dried up. So I'm going to put it in here without glue, and hopefully it's going to be okay, which I think it probably will. Well, I'd say that probably took me about a half an hour. Should not have taken me that long. Probably by me filming it and stopping and all that kind of thing, it took a little bit longer. But needless to say, changing out the nut is actually pretty cool. It's an easy thing to do. Especially if you've got like a Squier or even a Mexican Strat, they put in as cheap of components as they can get away with, and an $8, $9 nut goes a long way into the tone of your instrument. Anyway, that's just an easy, simple thing for you to do. If you would, hit the thumbs up button if you did like this video. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down button. Anyway, Kennis Russell out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another video.